Thank you, Rajiv, and thank you to Representative Jayapal and Meng for hosting us today. The South Asian American Justice Collaborative is a new national legal nonprofit whose mission is to fight for the civil and human rights of the South Asian diaspora in the United States. As part of that mission, we recently led a coalition of over 35 organizations, many of whom are in this room, in filing a amicus brief in the birthright citizenship case that will be heard before the Supreme Court next week. Our brief pushes back against this notion that we are forever foreign. Representative Jayapal had described a little bit of that history. South Asians actually arrived on these shores in the 1600s, and by the 1700s, South Asians were already asserting their rights here. There were mariners, South Asian mariners that traveled here in the 1600s and 1700s. In 1861, an Afghan immigrant actually fought in the Civil War in the Union Army. And by the late 19th century, the largest farming group in Central California was formed by Punjabis. Yet again and again, our belonging has been questioned. As Representative Jayapal mentioned, there's the Thin case that was heard before the United States Supreme Court. The repercussions of that case at that time was to strip the citizenship from South Asians who had already built their lives here. Our brief recounts the tragic story of a man from what is now Pakistan who took his own life after losing his citizenship in 1928. That moment illustrates the extreme consequences of racializing citizenship. Today, South Asians are one of the largest immigrant populations in the US, but many families are caught in immigration backlogs that last for decades and make them vulnerable to the president's executive order restricting birthright citizenship. Two factors could produce those backlogs. First, while we have been in the United States for centuries, much of our community's growth has happened in the last 15 years. In fact, more than half of the Nepali-speaking Bhutanese community arrived as refugees only in 2008. Second, again, Jayapal had mentioned this point about the structural problems in our immigration system that amplify these trends. For example, more than 1.2 million Indians are stuck in employment-based green card backlogs, and roughly 1/3 are projected to die before ever receiving permanent residence. At the same time, South Asians are among the fastest growing undocumented populations in the country, driven in part by persecution in their home countries related to race, their religion, caste, gender, and sexual orientation-based persecution. Yet, current asylum policies have made it difficult to remain here lawfully while their claims are pending. To make matters worse, USCIS has paused immigration benefits, including asylum, and processing for nationals from South Asia, like from Afghanistan, trapping them in uncertain situations. So SAAJCO is challenging these benefits and asylum freezes, pauses, and policies in court. All of this matters for this anti-birthright citizenship executive order. When families remain in temporary, pending, or undocumented status for years, their US-born children fall directly within the scope of that order. Birthright citizenship has long been the constitutional rule that anchors our democracy and a simple promise of equality, that children born in the United States belong here as citizens, regardless of their parents' nationality or immigration status. The case that the Supreme Court will hear on April 1st will determine whether that promise of belonging endures. Thank you.